I know this movie has been out for a little while. It is definitely a kid's movie, but I wanted to see it. I used to watch the cartoon years ago. It's Dora and the Lost City of Gold. My thoughts on it, review, spoilers, and I guess I'll give it a score also. But I enjoyed the fact that the movie did some nods to the cartoon. Like there was a scene where Dora was sitting at a table with her parents and Diego, and she was like looking over at the camera, and she was saying some stuff like she did in the cartoon, and then her dad went like, she's going through a phase. She'll grow out of it or something like that. It was hilarious. And then there was another moment where Dora and Diego, and also I guess before I get to that part, they tried to focus this movie like in modern times, like in real life. Dora went to high school. Um, well, she is a little kid, so it must have been middle school and high school put together, I guess, is what it was trying to be. But Diego and Dora were playing around and exploring at the beginning of the film. This review is going to be all over. And they were talking about they wanted to have another adventure again someday. And then Diego had to leave with his parents. And Dora lives in the jungle, of course. And Diego was living there until he left. And I think it was like 10 years later. He's in high school. He's a totally different kid now, or a totally different young man now. And he just doesn't like to play anymore. He's more focused on high school, trying to survive high school from bullies and a lot of mean kids. And he's just trying to fit in. And Dora shows up at the high school, didn't want to go there to start with. She wanted to explore with her parents because they're trying to find the lost city of gold. I forgot what the name of it is. I can't even pronounce it to start with. Some kind of P word. So she ends up going to high school. She didn't want to go, but she ends up enjoying it. And of course, she sticks out, embarrasses Diego, her cousin, and he basically gets upset at her because he's trying to fit in, trying to survive, and she's sticking out. And they meet up with some friends. Well, Dora meets up with this other boy and this girl who is the president of the school, and of course Diego is crushing on this girl, and they're having some kind of safari thing at school, so they got to find some objects in a museum. They get kidnapped by this group of people who also kidnapped Dora's parents. I'm going to take another one. I'm just really thirsty right now. So they get kidnapped, and they get put inside this crate, and they get shipped out towards the jungle. And these group of people are trying to find the lost city of gold, kidnap Dora's parents to force them to help them find the city of gold. And then Dora and her friends and Diego get rescued out of the crate by this guy, who supposedly is a friend of Dora's parents. And of course they have to live in the jungle. They have moments like they stepped in this quicksand stuff and it was farting. That was very, very, very funny. It was a very messed up scene. And of course the guy that was with them that had rescued him had sank down inside the quicksand, and they had to rescue him. And then they had to go through these booby traps and solve them, and the booby traps were amazing actually. Really, really cool stuff. They had this puzzle with light, where you had to take the light and aim it at a different direction, and take it from that direction and aim it somewhere else. And of course open up a door. And there's a water puzzle where one of the friends of Dora was playing, and he's used to playing video games, so he hit one of the levers and hit another lever, and water started pouring out everywhere. But luckily, during that booby trap, he's been talking like he can breathe underneath water for about 7 minutes. So he dives underneath the water. He turns this gear, and the water goes out and all that. So the movie was really, really good. I actually enjoy it a whole lot. Yes, it's a kids movie. I understand that, but it was actually really good. So I highly recommend it. And of course, they had Swiper in the film. They did a good job of him. They actually made him talk. I think he talked in the cartoon. I can't remember. And of course, Boots was in the movie very briefly in the film at the very beginning. Boots was wearing red boots like he did in the cartoon. Of course, they're making like a real world thing. So her parents told Dora that Boots can't be wearing clothes because Boots is not a real person. And she taught like Boots actually talks to her. And later on in the film, Dora and her friends and the guy that rescued them out of the crate. They lived in the jungle and all that. And later on, they found out that he was actually a bad guy. They revealed that he was a bad guy. He's working with the clan of people that kidnapped Dora's parents, and of course Dora and her friends. So I already knew that was coming because the way that he was acting before, he was saying like he's a bad guy, and it's just the way that he was acting. It's like I already knew it. He was already the villain. I already saw it coming. But it was a really, really good movie. I know I said that already, but it really was good. I have Misty down here on the floor getting into stuff. But what else can I say about the film? Well, of course, there's a moment in the film where Dora was dancing at school. She's doing these weird animal dances, and she got picked on, and Diego was hiding from all that. But later on in the film, Dora and Diego actually confront each other, and they get along, and they start being like cousins, like they used to be. So all that actually worked out. And of course, Dora and her friends all find the lost city of gold. Her parents get rescued. And there was these guardians that were looking over the city of gold. And this was kind of cool. This woman was an elderly lady at first. Dora and her friends had spoke to her in a cave. They couldn't understand her, but Dora was able to communicate with her. But later on, this old elderly lady, she transformed. She had powers, and she revealed actually who she really was. And she was the leader of the Guardians over the Lost City of Gold. So that was an awesome scene right there. Because it was a scene, it was at the end of the film where they had to solve this puzzle of how to get to the Lost City of Gold. And of course, the bad guy did it first. And it's a statue, and the statue had hands, and you had to put an object inside the hands, and then it would lift itself up. And of course, the bad guy put a coin in, thinking that he knew this would work, and that didn't work at all. And the guy fell. So he was supposedly died, but he didn't die because it's a family-friendly film. So the bad guy lived. They saved him out of the hole. And Dora went up to it, and she used water. And she put the water inside the hands of the statue, and of course that worked, and they found the Lost City of Gold. And of course, Swiper stole a relic that belongs to the place, and the place started falling apart. It became very, very foggy. Earthquakes or something started happening. So, and of course, Dora was able to get this relic back, and she placed it on this altar-like thing, and everything went back to normal. Everything was fixed. The earthquake stopped, and the fog disappeared. It was just really good film. I mean, I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was very, very funny. I mean, definitely recommend it for sure. For kids and adults of all ages, Even if you didn't watch the cartoon, that's fine. And speaking of the cartoon, there was a moment where in the film, like I said, this review is going to be all over the place. There was this moment where they were walking through these section of plants, and they were not supposed to touch the plants, so they were trying to weave themselves through the plants. And the bad guy that had rescued them, he was doing something silly. He was holding the straps to his book bag inside of his mouth, so he's trying to make them not touch the plants as he's trying to weave through. And of course, he ends up touching them and setting them off, and sprayed out some stuff. And this stuff that got sprayed out of the plants caused Diego and the others to turn into their original cartoon forms. So that was another nod right there. So that was very cool. I actually enjoyed that moment of the film as another nod towards the cartoon. So very, very good movie. I will give this movie a 7 or 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. I actually plan to rewatch it again pretty soon, actually. So, I'm Michael, and if you enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button, like button, also share with your friends who don't mind. Also, please comment, ask me a question, or comment in general. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, if you don't mind, hit the notification bell down below, and you will be notified when I go live or upload another video. Alright, thanks so much. Alright, bye.